object to Eminem for various different ways. And so you've got that message going, but then you've got, what's weird is you've got Stan, which is one of his greatest songs, which in a sense is almost saying the opposite. It's talking about imagining somebody who's so deeply touched and affected by Eminem, this guy has obviously got issues of his own, goes out and emulates him. You know, and that's, you know, but that's all part and parcel, you know, that's all part of the contradiction, whatever, that is at the heart of Eminem a lot of the time, and the paradox. But essentially, yes, that album is the one that, for people like me, perhaps, who didn't think that Eminem was for real, well, this is for real.
With the release of the new album, it was becoming clear that a cast of characters drawn from Marshall Mathers' life were beginning to reoccur in Eminem's work.
I think one of the things that makes Eminem extraordinary as an artist, as a rapper, is that most celebrities, they might well have issues in their lives, issues with their family, issues with loved ones, or, you know, people are romantically involved in, that they would really, there's a great deal of speculation around it, but they absolutely they stonewall, no comment. Stuff leaks out about it through, you know, whatever, into this sort of tabloid, whatever. But as far as the people themselves are concerned, there's no comment, and what they would say is that, you know, I do my work and my private life is an absolutely separate thing. And of course, Eminem his work is his private life. I mean, nobody has kind of made the stuff of their art and their work, you know, their most private relationships and the turmoil and strife of their private relationships.
The way certain figures, the three members of his family and a sort of a revolving cast of enemies continue to play in all the records is a pretty interesting achievement as well. And nobody else has done it. I mean, some people say, get off it already, but to be honest with you, I think he doesn't really have the choice. That's my impression. I just think it speaks well of how he creates his work, rather than signifying that he's limited and he's going to do one thing. I think it says that he really does reach inside of himself to make this music, and that's a positive thing.
The 2002 album, The Eminem Show, became another huge success, further solidifying the star's position as the most successful rapper in the world.
His life changed a lot between Marshall Mathers and The Eminem Show. It stabilized, you know, he almost went to jail. He kind of sobered up, quit partying. He started acting more responsibly. And I think that as his life stabilized, the music has changed. You know, The Eminem Show, he also did what he had done on every other record, which is tell everyone the story of his life. But he told it in a very clear, very distinct fashion on The Eminem Show that let, you know, a lot of new fans just come right into Eminem land. Whereas older fans had already kind of heard the stories and just heard them again in a different way. On The Eminem Show is the first album that has all the lyrics printed. It's a very easy entree into Eminem world. He's also, on songs like Cleaning Out My Closet, he's rapping much slower than he's capable of and very clearly saying what he has to say. And his metaphors aren't as kooky. They're like, you know, very clear. I think it was a deliberate attempt after being misunderstood, while being such an honest artist in your art, to literally let everyone know, here's who I am, this is my story.
The Eminem Show, you've had Slim Shady, you've had Marshall Mathers, now it's the third part of the trilogy, it's Eminem, who in a sense is the kind of unifying force, you know, the show was Eminem. It's an album in which I think he absolutely realises, as his complete confidence about the kind of power he wields as beyond just a sort of a rapper, but as a kind of major global celebrity phenomenon. And I think he's, you know, on the one hand, kind of excited, at the same time very disaffected by that. You know, he obviously always had this kind of very energetically ambivalent attitude towards his own stardom. I mean, you know, obviously he resents the kind of the intrusion. It's also an album, I think, in which there's a kind of closure occurs. I think with Cleaning Out My Closet, which basically matters are now settled between him and his mother. It's almost like that kind of like the Godfather 2 things. Over. There is a sense of that going on with his mother. You know, the lawsuit has been cleared. There's no access anymore, and things. And there's, you know, and there's going to be closure with Kim as well, which it provides a very, very stark, stone cold kind of definitive moment, you know, towards the conclusion of that song, where he says, you know, you're dead, you're nothing to me. It also raises the issue of what Eminem is going to do after this. It almost like you think, well, this has been the stuff of his career thus far. He's got no more material. What's he going to do next?
What Eminem did was release 2004's Encore. However, the album was less successful than the previous 3 records.
Encore is a perfect name for this record. You know, what do I do? It's an answer to the question, what do I do for an encore? That question, you know, you've already done everything, what do you do for an encore? Well, a little less of the same, but very well. It's in many ways his most childish and scatological record, and I think that's a good thing to do. I prefer him being childish and scatological to him being some sort of conflation of Kiss and REM, which is what happens on show, on the Eminem Show. I think all the toilet bowl, diarrhea, vomiting stuff, which really annoyed people, well, just think about it. It was an accomplishment for Eminem to really annoy people at this stage in his career. He actually succeeded in outraging them again, or they didn't notice. They just, oh, he's over. I know, what can I say? I think that's incredibly stupid. I think this, by any objective standard, is a really good record.
Encore saw the rapper taking a different direction in his lyrics. It was becoming clear that Eminem was beginning to look outside his own life for inspiration.
This is a guy that has expressed everything there is to express about himself, and I think he's starting to look outwards. You know, we have the song Mosh, which is like the most political he's ever been, which is great. You know, I think that is the kind of thing he should be doing.
And the fact that there is, an explicitly political song on it, it's no different than that there was an explicitly political song on the previous records as well. I mean, he was putting down the war in the previous record on Square Dance. I think a lot of people aren't even aware that he did it, but it's right there, and his fans know it. So Mosh is that kind of a song, more so. And you know, when I heard it, and it came out before the record did it, I had hopes. I hate the war. I would love him to be an effective political leader. We need them. I was hoping he would try and do it, and I think he's talented enough that he might actually manage it. It's a very difficult thing to do for an artist, but he did not try. I'm sorry he didn't try. That, you know, what could he do for an encore? Well, that's what he could do for an encore, but it's very dangerous, very risky, very hard to pull off. I wouldn't be surprised if he thought about it and decided that he couldn't do it.
Deeper meaning behind like everything I say, and it's like it's political. It's political, and it's like just making fun of the world. That's all I'm doing. I'm having fun with rap, and I'm making fun of all the fucked up shit that's going on in the world. Because, yo, you're only on this planet for a certain amount of time. You know what I mean? We all live, we all die. You know what I mean? We never know when we're gonna die, so whatever. While you're here, you might as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, the world is fucked up.
Eminem has been plagued with controversy. Everyone from parents' groups to politicians have condemned the rapper for the content and delivery of his lyrics. However, in the beginning, it was simply the colour of his skin which raised the most eyebrows.
Race is a fascinating part of the Eminem story. I mean, initially it was this huge obstacle. I mean, there was probably 10 or 15 there was probably no greater impediment to Eminem getting respect as a rapper, getting people to listen to him as a rapper, than the fact that he was white.
Him being white was definitely caused some closed doors, I think. You know, record labels didn't want white acts. We'd been told that flat out, you know. Even before I was on board, the Bass Brothers had made some efforts to get him signed to another